Hi everyone, welcome back to the next diecast. In today's video, I'll be showing you and reviewing this 1/18 scale 2001 Saturn SC 3-door coupe made by Gateway Limited, which will later become known as Autoart. I got this model from eBay for $50 in total, including shipping, and unfortunately it did actually arrive to me quite heavily damaged. I did a video where I unboxed the model while it was damaged, and then I quickly kind of showed how I repaired it. But most of the damage to the model was actually on the underside of it. So most of the repairs I did were kind of confined to the undercarriage down here. You can see where I actually glued the base back together and then put some black adhesive strips over where the cracks were showing. And from a far distance, you really can't tell that I did much to the model down here. But if you want to see kind of the whole repair project, make sure you check out that video. I'll link it in the description or in the comments section. But this is based off the Saturn S-Series coupe. The S-Series was made from 1990 until 2002 in 3 different generations. The third generation was made from 2000 until 2002. And the S-Series came as coupes, sedans, and also as wagons. This is based off the 2001 version of the SC coupe. And the most heavy, I think, change to the S-Series was around 1996 when they changed up the S-Series to kind of have some more aerodynamic curves and stuff like that to their bodies. They weren't kind of a more boxy shape like they started out as. And the coupes lost the pop-up headlights, unfortunately, but in 1999 they gained the rear door back here. And eventually, the S-Series would be replaced by the Ion sedan and quad coupe, where the quad coupe, of course, had 2 rear doors. The SC Series coupes with the third door, of course, just has the third door on the driver's side. So this is kind of a cool, I think, series of cars. And it's kind of the series of vehicles that Saturn kind of started making and became kind of well known for. So again, the S-Series as a whole lasted from 1990 until 2002. And this is based off the 2001 3-door coupe, so just something to keep in mind there. Autoart would eventually make this. That's because they started out as being called Gateway Limited. And the only differences you're going to see, aside from, of course, the box labeling, are that the Autoart versions of this model are going to come with carpeting and some more fine details on the interior of the car. But from what I've seen on eBay, it seems like the older Gateway or Gate versions of this model seem to be more common and also a little bit cheaper as well. So this model came in this really awesome yellow that you see here with the black interior, as well as a bright red with a black interior and a black with a gray interior. From what I've seen, the most common seems to be the black version, and you can find these for usually between $45 and $100, depending on the condition of the model, the color you're getting, and the box that you get it in. So, and I actually did get a partial refund for my model because it did come so, damaged and everything, but I was able to largely fix it, luckily. So, but if you can ignore the damage and everything and the fact that I had to fix up this model, I think the details and everything are very well done. And it would kind of set the stage for what this particular diecast company will be doing in terms of details on their models. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the details of this Saturn SC Series coupe model. We'll take a look starting at the front here. And you can tell that the front end does kind of have a face look to it. Like these are the eyes and that's the mouth kind of thing. The S-Series models were kind of unique in that sense, I think. They had kind of these rectangular headlights and kind of the wide mouth grills down there. So I think Autoart/Gate did an excellent job with the front end of the model. With the headlights, there are no pegs to be seen, which I think is really cool to see. They did a nice job with the textures of the halogen bulbs, as well as the lenses, too. You got that Saturn badge up there, too. You can clearly read Saturn, which I think is a cool touch. The front bumper is made of plastic, but I think Gate did a good job of kind of blending in the paint between the metal and the plastic. On lower grade models, a lot of times you see kind of like fading and stuff, or an obvious difference in color between metal and plastic parts. But of course, Autoart/Gate would not have that problem on their diecast models. So that's cool to see. The lower grille down here is perforated, which is nice to see, and you can see the radiator behind it as well. It's kind of hard to see because it is so low to the ground, but kind of get a little peek of it right there. So I think that they did a great job with that as well. Of course, all the indicator lights are separately cast plastic pieces as opposed to being painted on, so I think that's also a great touch. And then you have these kind of lower, unique-looking triangular-shaped fog lights, too. They're also separately cast plastic pieces, so looks cool. Nice detailing on the wipers as well. They weren't just kind of, you know, molded crudely. They're actually, I think, pretty accurate to how the real wipers would be shaped, so that's a cool touch there. The mirrors are also well done and are made of die cast, which is a cool touch. On the side, you have kind of that same Saturn badge you see on the front end of the car. Of course, these are a little bit smaller. Kind of hard to read the Saturn inscription, but I don't think that's a big deal. The badges are also painted on too. They're not stickers. I forgot to say that. Wheels and tires are also well done too. The SC2 or the S-Series coupe in general, I think, came with at least 3 or 4 different styles of wheels. The SC2 was, I think, an upper trim compared to the SC1, where you had like leather seats and you had more options with like paint colors and wheels and whatnot. So the SC2, at least for 2001, did come standard with this particular wheel style. I think Gateway Limited, or Gate, however you want to say it, did do a good job with the detailing on the wheels here too. And they actually do brand the tires. These are Firestone tires. Kind of hard to see from this lighting, but they did an excellent job with that, I would say. No suspension, but you do get steering. The steering is a bit tough and it kind of clicks around a little bit, but it does function decently, I would say. That's the only complaint I usually have about upper end models, is that if they do have steering systems, they just feel very delicate and fragile. But of course, they make up for that with all the different fine details they put into their models. So I think they did an okay job with that. Paint quality on the model, I would say, is very well done. Again, you have the plastic bumpers, but I think the paint on those bumpers blends well with the paint on the metal portions of the car. Nice, smooth finish throughout. Absolutely no imperfections from what I could say. Keep in mind, if you get this model new in the box, the hood is going to be held shut by clear stickers, and the stickers are going to leave a residue on there. So you're going to want to clean that off so the paint won't fade. That's kind of a pet peeve of mine with some model brands. Instead of using like a band around the hood, they'll put those like clear stickers on there. 9 times out of 10, they won't leave a residue, but sometimes they do, and it's a real pain to get off. So I don't know if newer models from Autoart have the stickers holding shut the parts, or if they use bands, but keep that in mind if you get the model new. You may have to do some cleaning up on the hood there. Back here, you will see that the defroster is pretty well done. I don't think the lines are too wide or anything. Sometimes you see kind of these over exaggerated like lines, or wires I should say, but on this model I think they're very well done, which is nice to say. Oh, and all the trim's actually done with a matte black paint. I forgot to mention that. It's not glossy or anything. So they sprayed the entire model with yellow paint, and they went over the trim areas with kind of a matte black finish to make it more accurate looking. I think they did a good job in that sense. Back here, they do a nice job with this taillight unit, I guess we'll call it back here. No pegs to be seen, which is great. The turn signals are kind of integrated on the upper portions of this taillight piece back here. Of course, the trunk does not open on the model, but on the real vehicle, it would open. So you have kind of a taillight here, and then you have kind of one single taillight going across the length of the rear trunk. You do have a Saturn badge embossed on top of that taillight back there, which is very well done. And then you have the Saturn inscription kind of etched into the bumper. All Saturns from 1990 until 2006 or 2007 did have the integrated inscription in their rear bumpers. And that was another kind of, I think, unique feature of these vehicles. So, looks cool. And you have these rear, I don't know if, these are reverse lights. I almost called them fog lights. They are reverse lights. They're separately cast plastic pieces and look very well done. So that's always a good thing to say. With opening features, you do have an opening hood on the model. It doesn't stay open. I think the Autoart versions of this model, they're going to have kind of better quality hoods where they'll stay up. They might even come with prop rods. I'm not sure, but you don't get a prop rod with this model here. I might get like a toothpick or something just to keep with the model so I can hold up the hood. But for now, you're just going to have to deal with me holding it up like that. But the engine detailing, I would say, is pretty well done. You can see it says Saturn, and then I think it says twin cam or something on that. Yeah, twin cam right there. It's made up of a couple different three-dimensional plastic pieces. It's largely just 2 or 3 pieces instead of all these different like wires and pulleys and whatnot, but I'd say the 3D effect is pretty well done on here. You have all the different areas where like you fill it in with fluids, like there's the washer fluid cap and stuff like that, and then you have the Saturn badge right there, and you can kind of see the main engine block too. The hood I think should open a little bit higher if this were the real car, but at least it does open up like that, so you can kind of see in there. The newer versions of this model will have this section painted black. The older versions are going to have kind of this raw, unpainted look. It does not look that great. I may just get like a Sharpie or paint it with like black paint so it looks a little bit better, but if you get a newer version of this model, you will get that section painted and you will get carpeting on the interior. But aside from that, details are going to be pretty much the same. They did actually paint the underside of the hood at least, so that does look good. But I think the engine looks pretty well done for an upper end model for sure. I think a bit more fine detailing would have been welcome, but I think for what they have there, they did a good job. Close that up. And of course, you also have opening doors on the model. Again, this is the 3-door coupe, so to open up the rear door, you just open up the front driver door like this. They're kind of on combination spring load and dog leg hinges, which is interesting to see, but with that, you do have kind of a nice wide angle at which the doors open, so I think they did a good job in that sense. And here's that small rear door back here, which opens up like that. And it does look cool. I've always kind of liked this style of coupe. The only 2 cars, I think, at least in the last 20 years that have been made with this feature have been this Saturn coupe, the Saturn Ion, and the Mazda RX-8 in terms of 3-door coupes or quad coupes. I think that's always been kind of a cool style, in my opinion. I don't think it's ever going to come back, unfortunately, but I think while they had it, I think it was a super cool kind of a style. Of course, the other door does open too. The doors open up super wide, maybe almost too wide, I don't know, but I imagine the rear doors kind of look like this. So the interior detailing on the model, I would say, is pretty well done. With all the seats, you do have kind of a nice texture on them. The SC2s did come with optional leather trimmed seats, so I think that's what Autoart/Gate was trying to go for here. You can see some like creases and wrinkles kind of throughout all 4 seats, and the overall, I think, shapes and proportions of the seats look very well done. Back here, you also have the 2 cup holders and everything, and you also have some detailing on the door panels as well. These earlier Saturns did have very basic interiors, and Autoart, I think, does a good job with what little you have in this particular model's interior. Of course, these seats are quite well done, as I already said. Door panels don't have much on them in general on the real vehicle, but what Autoart/Gate did, I think they did a good job with. You have a nice texture going throughout the doors here. I think some more fine detailing as far as the door handles and buttons go could have been welcome, but I think on the later versions of this model, they do kind of correct that, I think, quote unquote, by putting in some finer detailing there. But you would have like your window buttons and your locks on there too. They do a good job with the speakers down there, I will say that. So, decent job, I would say, for sure. The basic nature of the interior continues onto the dashboard and the center stack. Not a whole lot of buttons there. They're all molded correctly. They're just not really colored in, but later versions of this model will have colored in buttons. But what I think Gate does here, they do a good job with in terms of just the overall look and shape of the center stack here, as well as those vents. You have the radio unit kind of right underneath the vents, and then you have all the different HVAC controls kind of between the radio and that center, I guess, little storage unit right there. So I think they did a good job with that. I think some more fine detailing would have been welcome, but again, the later versions of the model will have that more fine detailing as far as the center stack goes. And the rest of the dashboard, you have kind of a nice smooth texture to it, nice looking vents as well. And of course, newer versions of this model will have carpeting, but at least as far as the older versions of the model go, you do have kind of a slightly rough texture down there, so I guess it kind of makes up for the lack of carpeting, but I don't think that's really a big deal. And they also do a good job with the shifter and the parking brake too. It almost looks like you can move these because they're so well done. And you do have a little bit of, I think, button detail between the center armrest and the shifter. It's just a bit hard to see from there. The steering wheel is also well done. Bit hard to see here, but there is a small Saturn badge kind of etched, there we go, into the center of the steering wheel, as you would see on the real SC Coupe. And the overall, I think, look and shape of the steering wheel is pretty well done. And of course, you also have the gauge cluster sticker behind the steering wheel too. You do have some nice detailed pedals on here. This is the manual transmission version of the SC Coupe, so you do kind of see those pedals peeking out down there. It's kind of hard to see in here just because the interior is all black, but that is accurate to the real 3-door coupe. I think the details in here are pretty well done. The newer versions are going to have some more fine detailing, but then you're going to probably be paying a fair bit more, because it seems like these older versions made by Gate are more common than the newer versions made by Autoart. So that's just something to keep in mind there. Go ahead and close up the doors here. And to close up this side, you do have to kind of close the rear door first, kind of go in reverse as you would to open the doors. You close the rear door first like that, and then you close the front door like so. Now the undercarriage detailing is pretty well done. If you can ignore all the different like gluing and repair work I did down here, I think Gate did a pretty good job. This muffler back here is done in chrome, but the rest of the exhaust components are actually painted silver instead of just cast all in chrome. So I think they did a good job in that sense. And there is some engine detailing down here where the front wheels are. So I think it does look pretty good down here. These pieces of adhesive were just put on by me to cover up the big crack that was on the base from when I had to repair the model after I got it. But you don't see that when the model is like that. So, but yeah, I was really happy to get this model. It's been kind of on my want list or on my wish list for quite a bit of time now. And then I saw it listed for a pretty good price, so I decided to get it. So if you're into kind of unique cars or into just like the Saturn brand in general, there isn't really too many of us who know and remember the Saturn brand, but I think this particular car is pretty cool. And this is kind of what started the Autoart brand. They were making several of these models under the name Gate. They did the Saturn SC Coupe, they did the Saturn Vue, and a few other American cars that were kind of being produced in the early 2000s to kind of, I think, get their name out there, both for the cars and for the brand. And then eventually you would, of course, see them make all kinds of supercars and whatnot under their diecast brand. So that's just something cool to keep in mind there. But if you're into Saturns or into, you know, odd or unique vehicles, I think this would be a good addition to your 1/18 scale collection if you can find it for a good price. So with that being said, I would definitely recommend getting it. So feel free to comment down below with your thoughts on the model here. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.